Merry Meet and welcome to Lux Dragon Queen Magic. I'm Taylor and today is going to be a collective reading that tunes into both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine so that we can see both sides together, how they're interacting with each other, and how we can receive some advice on balancing those out, whether they be within our own internal energies or if you're here looking for a twin flame reading. There definitely is a message for you here today. With that, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we have for Divine Femme coming out is the White Buffalo Calf Woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. And so this is letting us know in regards to our Divine Feminine side that we are needing to tune into our emotions and our wants a little bit more and start taking cues from those feelings in how we want to move forward within this life. So right now, what probably has been happening a lot more often is that we've kind of just been getting stuck in the daily grind. We've been focusing on others around us rather than focusing on ourselves and like what we need to truly take care of ourselves and not just survive, but what we need to thrive. And so this is also letting you know too, because something that happens often with the White Buffalo Calf Woman in her stories is that her boundaries get pushed, and in her stories they're very drastic and they are just killed immediately. And yeah, so I'm not saying to go do that at all, but it is a message here saying that you need to make sure that you are having the firm boundaries in your life. And also, if you are recognizing that someone is telling you that they need certain boundaries with you, maybe consider that you need even firmer boundaries with them, because, and I say this often on this channel, but if there is anyone who's making you doubt yourself, then it means you need firmer boundaries with that person. And so this energy that's coming through with the Divine Feminine is recognizing that you are divine and taking back your power, your control, all while using it to kind of pinpoint and focus yourself into the direction that you want to go in. Okay, so simply connecting to that heart space is going to be so good because it's going to ignite the love for yourself within there. It's going to ignite your passions, your hobbies. If you've just been feeling really down and right now you're like already discouraged with these messages, I then encourage you to, I know probably if you like to journal, you probably are already used to writing out your feelings. So if you're someone who doesn't really like to journal, but you get stuck in your head a lot of times, I would encourage you to move your body in some shape or form. Even if it's pacing, you will feel better. There's something, I don't think it's called bipedaling, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there is something in therapy where being able to move, alternating your right side to your left side, provides a calming sense to your body. So I would encourage you to do that. Even doing this is nice. They recommend to switch be on separate sides because it takes a little bit more brain power. So all things like that. That's why walking really works, because we naturally have to move both sides of our body. That's why most forms of exercise work, for that same reason. So that's why I would encourage you to physically move your body in some shape or form. And then kind of when you calm down, you might notice more of like, oh, this is what I really want to do. And then go do that thing, or look up how to do more of it, or watch videos and make a plan is really what's coming forward, which is perfect because now we do have our Divine Masculine energy, which is pioneer. I am blazing a trail. And then you may want to pause to further embody and engage with the energy. But ultimately what this is letting us know is that sense of adventure that is within you that you've been ignoring, again, just being stuck in that daily grind, not really letting yourself branch out, closing yourself off from those around you too. So it can be exploring in your relationships as well, versus the fact of like, how much have you been isolating yourself? So these energies are asking you to understand where your boundaries are at, and then to kind of go out on your own and make a new trail, fully knowing where your boundaries are at, and allow yourself to enjoy something that you've been wanting to do for a very long time. And so there is this energy of starting something new while it really being something that your inner child or you yourself have just put on the back burner, but it's something so close to your heart. So that is this main energy that's coming forward for how we're working within our own internal self. If you are here for a twin flame reading, what this is letting me know right away is that there is a sense of wilderness between both partners. One partner is fully encompassed within it and is like fully fine with being stable within it, while the other one is moving around it and is not wanting to remain in one space, and they're wanting to branch, explore, and move further around. So what I would encourage during this to balance out those two energies between two separate people is, one, recognize which one you're more, and then understand how that other person is feeling, and practice some empathy in understanding. So if you are the divine feminine in this scenario, understanding that maybe doing a date where you go out and physically go out of your comfort zone would be something to look into doing. The other thing though, vice versa, if you are more this outward energy, you're wanting to get up and go, offer a night in to be able to just simply talk, or like a night out under the stars. So it's something still where you're still engaging in this wild energy, but you're allowing yourself to find the balance that you need to in order to fully incorporate it and to fully balance it with your partner. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look into the tarot, get a little bit more energy updates in regards to this. The main thing I want you to take away from this, if you're here for a partner reading though, is to know that you are trying to balance out where you feel as individuals, and that there is definitely a way to find that compromise, that middle ground, because the reality is that you're in the same area. So I'm gonna use a metaphor where, like, when people ask, like, are you on the same page? Like, you guys might not be on the same page, but you're at least in the same book, maybe even the same chapter, which there's a lot to be said about that. So recognizing your wins versus always checking your faults is going to be so important. So again, a big message coming through is just like, what does your heart want you to do? What sounds good? You will find a space to relax in with your partner. So don't worry about, like, if you're only seeing differences right now. The reality is that you're just both figuring each other out while still figuring out yourselves, and that is difficult to do. So congratulations. You've done a lot on both parts. So let's go ahead and jump into the tarot. So right off the bat, we have the sun coming out. So I really enjoy this energy because this is letting us know too that this means that you are being quite literally blessed from spirit right now. So you are going to be within this next time frame a real sense of knowing. You're going to be, there's a lot of abundance that's coming through. There is this just very positive energy. So if you are working towards any goal, if you've set any intentions especially, you are going to see this manifestation happen, is really what's coming forward. You're also, again, we were just talking about, like, celebrating the successes and how far you've come. Like, this is kind of wanting you to recognize that you have a lot of positive energy backing you up right now. So if you aren't feeling that inwardly, maybe start to recognize where it is outwardly and gravitate towards those areas, because you are controlling this massive energy that is around you. And the reality is that your external is matching up to be able to help you become more of the person that you want to be able to align with that higher self, to be able to follow this heart compass. So with that, right after, we have the Two of Cups. Very good balancing card, especially after what we just talked about, because this is really good balancing between partners and between just your internal energies, right? And so again, a lot of good positive energy, letting you know that you're literally bouncing between the divine and the masculine, and there is going to be a lot of good communication between, like, friends, some catching up, not necessarily parties, but like kind of like a night out by the fire kind of situation where a friend, like, stops by and you're, like, talking with each other. Just very, like, chill vibes is what's coming through for you this week, despite it being the sun. So it's not like overly energetic, it's not getting into that anxiety feeling. Instead, it simply is like this smooth confidence that you are interacting the way you're meant to, you're moving through life as you need to, and you just really have got this thing. Okay, and then we do have the Ace of Swords coming out right after. So this is letting me know that you are going to be receiving an idea, especially within a week or so. because I wanted to say by the end of the week. So for someone that literally is by the end of the week. But yes, so you are, again, you're just in this energy of like, yeah, I have figured out quite a lot. And you're just like chilling with it. And then you're going to be like, oh, this is what I want to do. So through all of this like calming down, recognizing where you're at, you're going to find where you want to go, and you're going to make a very solid plan. You're going to have a solid idea around how you want to move forward, because sometimes, honestly, that's something I'm struggling with right now, is just figuring out what I want out of life and out of myself. And so with that energy comes questions, comes needing to take more pauses, needing to plan a little bit more, and kind of just recognize what an ideal day looks like. So that might be a practice for you as well. But this is a very big confirmation that you deserve to have your boundaries respected, that you are an explorer, and that you are literally, you're blazing a trail. So as much as you are balancing out your own internal energies, and if you are like maybe very introverted, there is something about the way that you're living your life that is different and unique compared to others, which is why it's scary, which is why having that self-assurance come through is so important for you, because there aren't going to be other people who can validate you, at least not in the beginning. Towards the end, there will be that validation where your idea really starts to pay off, but right now, it's just kind of like going to be a few people who are like, oh, what you're doing is interesting. And with that, you need to be the one to be like, I fully believe in it, I'm so excited, like I can't believe I finally get to do this. So with that kind of energy, that's what's being asked of you to bring in, but you are being backed up by the universe saying like that energy does exist around you, and so it is up for grabs for you to incorporate that into your being. And so with that, let's take a look at the wisdom. So we have number 23, which is listening, and I absolutely love this after what we just talked about, literally, because it is asking you to calm down and listen to that voice inside your heart, to listen to your intuition, and just simply slow down to allow yourself to listen, quite literally, to what is inside, to what you want to do, and then you'll be able to follow through. So can't really get any more simple than that. I know sometimes it's hard to surrender, because listening, we talk a lot, I think, maybe it's because of my corporate world though, we talk a lot about like active listening, right? And because there is passive listening versus active listening. And so how do you active listen with your intuition? And so the way you do that is that you can still engage your intuition. You might feel a little crazy, maybe substitute the word crazy with magical for a few weeks, but you're going to go ahead and you're going to just engage with that intuition. So I believe we've talked about this before too. You can set signs and confirmations. You don't have to say in a very general term like, give me a sign if this is what I'm supposed to do. You can say like, I want to see this if this is what I'm supposed to do. That also kind of gives you a little bit of psychology into how much you actually want something to happen. So like, how hard or easy is it to find that confirmation that you just asked from spirit? And then you may put a certain number to it too, because you're just like, maybe there's like a little bit of trusting in yourself that needs to happen. So you're like, well, okay, I saw the sign once, but like maybe show it to me like 2 more times just to make sure. And then depending on how fast you see those signs too, you can take that as a confirmation from spirit about like how much you really are on the right path. But also, doesn't need to be a thing either, right? You don't need to look into it too much either. If you just see it, if you're like, oh, I really want to see this by Friday, and then you literally don't see it until like 11 p.m. on a Friday night, that's still your sign. I mean, what are you doing out at 11 p.m.? You were meant to see that sign. So you don't need to look into it in regards to like approaching deadlines and what you put out. Just simply put out your intention and let it go and just see. Once it comes back, it'll come back to you like a reminder, and you're like, yes, you're right, that is what I'm going to go do. Thank you. The other thing with this too, when it comes to listening, and this is something I think I've brought up before, but like you can do like little tasks and errands with spirit, or like watch a movie, play a trivia game, and just be like, oh, I really don't know the answer to this. And they're just like, what's gonna come to me first? And so you do that. Same thing with like shopping, maybe don't write a list, just be like, I have a vague notion of what I need. Again, I encourage you to do this with discipline though, because I know sometimes going to the grocery store, you're like, but those bags of chips, right? Anyways, I feel like I'm going on a lot of tangents. So, point to this being is you can engage with your intuition and you can use the same active listening skills that you've learned throughout your life to be able to be an active listener and encourage this listening skill. Like even something I've noticed in my own pursuits is that I will like recognize, get a sense, just get some kind of psychic hit in regards to something happening. So like I was going into this room and I was just like, interesting. And like for whatever reason, it was like one of those random thoughts that went through my mind. And I was just like, oh, someone's in there today. And I immediately dismissed it because I was just like, I mean, it's possible, but I doubt it because there's barely ever anyone in there. And then there was someone in there who is almost never in that room. And so I got to meet them, and it was just like an interesting little thing where my own intuition did technically send me a warning. And that's, your intuition does that all the time whenever they're picking up on energy around you. It's just whether or not you're recognizing it. And so that was me recognizing it, at least, even if I didn't listen to it right away. And then like today coming home, I was just like, how should I pick up my mail? Because I know the packages should be there, but maybe they won't. And I was like, well, I bet they'll probably be there right when I get home, like the mail carrier. And they were. And it wasn't like, oh, they're normally there at that time. They're not. They're normally gone by this time. But there was that little whisper and just that moment, quiet moment at the stoplight said, they're going to be there right when you pull up. And lo and behold, they were. And so just those sweet little moments when you're just like, who said that? You said that. Your higher self, your intuition, whatever you need. If you want it to be a spirit who says it to you directly, an angel guide, whatever you need to call that voice, you can call that voice. But the point is to just start listening to it, engage with it, and just recognize it a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and dive into a Rumi card. And so we have Blessings of Zara, 39. Let go of thought. Don't take it into your heart. You are naked and thought is like ice. Use thought to seek release from suffering and pain. While thought is the cause of your suffering and pain, the realm of creation is outside the scope of thought. O foolish one, see the opus and behold the beauty. Look in the direction from which the images flow. See the brook that causes the wheel to turn. Rumi. I wish to pull that false confection from your mouth. Oh, I know you will open your mouth even wider to scream like the terrible cry of a toddler denied, but the moment you open your mouth wide and draw breath to bemoan the outrageous travesty of your loss, I shall shove my divine finger dripping with nectar into your gaping mouth. I'll let you suckle then, surprised and contented by the sweetness that surpasses all other sweets. When we are hungry, we reach for what food is available. If we are starving, we may gorge upon what is before us, only to find ourselves overfed, undernourished, and in a most uncomfortable and dissatisfied state. Your soul needs better quality food. It has been detoxing. You have been shedding old thoughts, feelings, pains, and struggles. Memories of the past have been flooding out of your soul, like parasites being expunged, and now your soul, thus cleansed, is in need of genuine nourishment to restore it to full radiance and vitality. Love will feed your hungry soul, nothing less shall suffice. No sweet-talking charmer, hell-bent on seducing and moving on, will make the grade. No, it has to be nothing less than genuine romancing by the great beloved to feed, comfort, and nurse you into radiance. Only that divine finger dipped in the heavenly honey can be taken in by your soul now. All else will seem as empty junk by comparison. But can we summon the strength to overcome habitual and mindless attempts at feeding on lesser substances? Oh yes. The great beloved shall storm through the kitchen, and with military precision clear out the cupboards, for only the best and finest, most decadent and delicious shall do for you. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. You are being given a blessing of Zara, of radiance, of brightness. This blessing has a purpose. It is to clear out that which would obstruct your full unfoldment, to support the divine jewel of your soul in shining. You are being given an opportunity, supported by life, by the earth, by the grace of the divine beloved, to shed toxins from your being. These may be physical, and they may be equally of emotional, psychic, or psychological origin. They may come from this or another lifetime. You may understand consciously what is being released, or you may not. If you are sensitive, you may feel symptoms of detoxification at a physical level, even if what you are releasing is emotional or psychological in nature. You are encouraged to complete this sacred honoring ritual, to stay adequately hydrated, and to be moderate rather than excessive in your approach. Give your body and mind time to rest and replenish so that blessing can be fully received. If you have been unwell or struggling to let go of an issue, this oracle comes as a portent of imminent healing back to good health and of the release of the issue into resolution and divine radiance. It is only a matter of timing, and that timing is imminent. This oracle also brings you the message that if something appears to be leaving your life, even something painful to release, it is because it is no longer healthy for you or no longer supporting of life for you. There is something more loving and beautiful awaiting. Do not try to feast upon scraps. Stop scraping in the dirt for stale breadcrumbs. Rise up and move towards the seat at the heavenly table gleaming before you, for a greater feast awaits your attendance. Sacred honoring ritual. Say aloud, I call upon Alzara, the merciful divine, one shining with grace, and Rumi, who loves me without condition. I call upon the healing angels, and I say the following declaration. With grace, I accept the shedding of that which is no longer worthy of me. I allow myself to release with merciful grace what no longer feeds my soul. With the truest of nourishment, I open to receive through unconditional love, healing, support, intervention, and protection, that I may shine with the divine radiance bestowed upon me in this blessing. I surrender my attachment to scraps and open my mind, body, and soul to the great feast. In the profound gratitude, I bow to the compassion that leads me to the banquet of love now. So be it. Lie down and rest for however long you need. Healing will happen during this time, so try to rest for at least 5 to 25 minutes, more if possible. Following your rest, you may also like to have a shower or bath using a handful of regular salt as a gentle body scrub to support your psychic and physical cleansing process. Enjoy this as an act of self-love. You have finished your sacred honoring ritual. I absolutely love that because, just as always, it ties into the messages that we have here. And so understanding that you have been putting in the good work that you need to, anything leaving you right now is meant to, and listening to that heart within you to really find the nourishment that you've been lacking, because that's why you've grown wild, because you've grown unsatisfied with what the current boundaries have told you were acceptable. And so now you're trying to find new nourishment. And so with that, let's get some affirmations. And so first we have, my body allows me to thrive. Okay, so definitely some self-care messages here, saying take care of you, because that was actually how we opened up the reading. Now that I think about it, was you need to take care of you, because if you're not, then you're not allowing yourself to be heard in the space that you need to be. And then I'm allowed to say no. I really enjoy this, especially after what we were just talking about, because a lot of this reading started with needing to have firm boundaries and understanding our own worth within our space and where we're at, and finding a way to have empathy for others without compromising ourselves, in the sense of not letting ourselves be respected and not getting the expression that we need and not being allowed to do the things that we want to. So understand too, something when it comes to I'm allowed to say no. If you are very indecisive in regards to like what you want, you are allowed to say no to the things that other people have told you you want. So that might sound weird, but like the best example I can give, that's just very general, is when like a parent is like, you've wanted this your whole life, when the reality is that they've wanted that for you your whole life, whatever that may be, whether it is a very nice career, a happy family, or going to school, whatever it may be. That is just a very good general example, that when they say you've wanted this your whole life, the reality is that they're projecting those wants and needs onto you And maybe you didn't want that your whole life, but you wanted it because your parent wanted it and you wanted to support your parents' happiness. And so now it's time for you to support your own happiness. So understanding, I love this, understanding when you need to say hell no because it's not a hell yes. So if you need to make it black and white like that, I encourage you to do so. That is also one way to take care of yourself and to take care of your body and your energy. All right, with that, my dragons, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I will definitely see you guys next time. Blessed be.